Greetings everyone. So today we are focusing on genetics. This will just be an introductory lesson. We'll focus on other subtopics in other videos. So as I have written there, genetics is concerned about how traits are passed from the parent to the offspring. That's the main concern, or that's what we will deal with mainly when talking about genetics. I will use one example for the sake of this lesson, which is eye color. Whether you have green eyes or brown eyes, we will focus on those two to make everything simpler. So genetics would try to explain that by looking at the genes of your father as well as the gene of your mother to try and understand how did you inherit your brown or your green eyes from. So definitely you inherited them from your mother, but they will try to be more specific as in what actually happened at a genetic level for you to end up having that specific eye color. But we will deal with that as we move along. So something that we need to note about this topic, there is someone very important we need to acknowledge, and for examination purposes you need to know this person. That is Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel. We will talk about Gregor Mendel even when we're talking about the laws of dominance, but you will know what that is when we get there. So Gregor Mendel is a person who's known as the father of genetics, because like she's the one who came with these ideas around genetics from doing several experiments, but we will talk about that when we get there. So for now, let's also remind ourselves about something we might have dealt with in the past term, which is the concepts around chromosomes. We might have dealt with this in reproduction, so it's the same concept. So when we're talking about chromosomes will come in homologous pairs. This basically mean you will see like pairs. It just means like they will come in like homologous pairs. That homologous is like similar in terms of positions the chromosome will be found. So when they say they will come in homologous pairs, you'll have to remember that there is like the paternal one, which comes from the father. Then there is the maternal one, which comes from the mother. So that's why they say the chromosomes will come in homologous pairs. So what we need to understand as well about that is that our father, under normal conditions, like you have to know this, under normal conditions, the paternal will have 23 chromosomes and the maternal will have 23, then at the end we'll have 46. Then moving forward, we have to understand what is a gene now, because we're gonna talk a lot more about genes. So we have to know what is a gene. Let me just clear that one. Okay. So when we are talking about a gene, we are talking about a segment of DNA that determines a trait. Segment of DNA that determines a trait. So when we're talking about like a gene, I will use the very same example I said I will use for the purpose of this lesson to make everything a little bit more easier. So when we're talking about a gene in the context of the example I said we will use, which is eye color, we are talking about the specific section in the chromosome. Like, you know, our chromosome may look a little bit like this. Sorry, I'm not very good at drawing, so it might look a little bit like this. Maybe this specific portion in a chromosome, let me draw the homologue of it, because like they are in homologous pairs, as I've said. Let me draw the homologue as well, which is the pair now. So these are pairs, like the homologous pairs. I'll just write H pairs. So these are homologous pairs. So this will actually be a gene for eye color, whether your eyes will be green or brown. So these are actually genes, those specific portion in a chromosome or in a DNA, because the chromosome contains DNA. So that's the idea behind what I'm saying. So that specific portion is what we would call a gene. Maybe this is like the paternal and this is the maternal, for example. So a gene is just that segment that determines a specific trait, which is eye color in this case, because I said this portion control eye color as well, because it will be found in the same location in the maternal as well as in the paternal chromosome. Okay, moving forward, we need to know now what is termed as an allele. Allele. So what is an allele? Allele refers to, let me write it. It refers to, how can I phrase this? Like possibilities of or let me say gene possibilities for the same trait. Yeah, let me phrase it that way. Gene possibilities for the same trait. Okay, what do I mean by saying this? I talked about eye color, which is the gene, which is controlled by the gene. So there is a gene that controls eye color, as I've said. Then there will be an allele, or there will be alleles for eye color, meaning different possibilities for that specific gene that controls the eye color. So our possibilities would be maybe brown, or it would be green. So there will be an allele that would control, or that would represent brown. That means if our eyes are brown, there will be a specific allele that might have resulted in brown eyes. For green as well, there will be an allele coding for our eyes becoming green. Even if they will not look green, there might be an allele for green, but maybe it is masked by the allele that resulted in our eyes being brown, provided that brown is dominant and green is recessive. With that having been said, in the next part of the lesson, we will talk about dominant as well as recessive alleles. We will try to understand that a little bit more, and we will keep continuing. Otherwise, we are done for the introductory part. We will meet again in the second part of our lesson. Thank you.